The man with the codename Mask was a superhero who single-handedly saved all of humanity. However, he was tragically betrayed by his comrades as human society gradually returned to order. The World Council, which represents the highest will of humanity, sentenced him to death. Hu Yao, as the president of the council, announced to the world all of Mask's past crimes. He should have been sentenced to death, but considering his contribution to humanity in expelling the extraterrestrial invaders, the council ultimately decided to strip him of his titles as the leader and marshal of the World Council, and only retain his title as a special hero. As the only special hero in the entire World Council, if there were any wars, he must unconditionally return to the battlefield quickly. This global live trial has attracted the attention of all humanity. Some people think that this is a complete murder, but more people feel that he deserved the punishment for his crimes. At this moment, Mask, who had been silent, slowly opened his eyes. The scene in front of him surprised him greatly. In his memory, he should have died under the sneak attack of the Lord of Nightweave. But this is clearly the place where he was betrayed by his comrades and underwent trial. At this time, a system pop-up appeared in front of him. Main task, rebuild humanity, already completed. Please choose one of the following two branch options. The path of the hero. Although humanity cannot understand your actions, as a hero, you can still choose to silently dedicate yourself to protect humanity. The path of the monster. Foolish humans cannot understand your actions. But what does it have to do with me to save humanity? Since you despicably killed a hero, the only thing that will awaken in the darkness is a bloodless and tearless monster. Please note that 20 minutes after the end of your selection, you will be randomly transported to an F-ranked dungeon. Mask did not expect to be reborn. Moreover, he is once again standing at this historic crossroads. In his past life, he chose the path of the hero without hesitation, but only ended up with a tragic death. In this life, Mask chooses the path of the monster without any hesitation. Hu Yao watched as Mask remained silent and asked if he had any objections to the verdict. As a hero, Mask was an incomparable figure in the world, but as a leader, he lacked emotional intelligence and political wisdom, which had hindered the interests of too many people. He had already been exiled in terms of reputation and social status in the past few years. This trial would physically exile him completely. If he dared to disagree, he'll be just an Boldira's pest who doesn't want to give up the authority he holds. Mask remained calm and said, "I have objections." Hu Yao smiled upon hearing his response. Mask fell right into his trap with his rebuttal. However, his next words shocked everyone present. "I give up my title as a special grade hero. I'm tired of being a hero." Hu Yao was surprised to hear his response, and he angrily questioned if Mask was expressing his dissatisfaction with the council in such an attitude. Mask slowly walked down the judgment platform and said, "I have no dissatisfaction, only an unprecedented feeling of relaxation." Hu Yao was greatly shocked by Mask's attitude. He thought, shouldn't he just obediently follow orders and be a silent hero supporting all humanity? But why did he let him go so easily? In anger, Hu Yao yelled out, "Since you've abandoned your status as a special grade hero, you shouldn't keep any of your strength. Your current power is mostly due to the resources poured into you by the Union. So while you may leave here, you must give up all your powers in front of us." Mask was the only level 13 hero in the world, and Hu Yao, who was ranked second, was only level 9. Despite Mask's unparalleled strength, he agreed to give it all up without hesitation. He raised his right hand, and a powerful energy began to gather. The energy became increasingly immense, and it filled the entire council hall, causing the onlookers to feel an unprecedented sense of oppression. Even Hu Yao had to use all his strength to resist the urge to kneel before Mask. Mask coldly looked at everyone present and said, "Since you want it, then I'll give it back to you." He then unleashed a blue beam of light that shot into the sky and broke through the building, illuminating the entire night sky. The passers-by were perplexed by this wonder, believing that another monarch-level monster had descended. The beam lasted for more than 10 minutes, and Mask's power was completely dissipated. At that moment, Hu Yao revealed a sinister smile. Mask had lost his powers and had become an ordinary person. As long as he left the building, his death was imminent. However, Hu Yao had not anticipated that Mask, who had removed his mask, would suddenly disappear as soon as he walked to the door. Begin random teleportation. Rank 4 dungeon selected. Hatching nest of the mother spider. As the radiance dissipated, Xiao Qiu's figure slowly emerged in a cave. At that moment, he was overwhelmed with emotion. He had almost forgotten what a 4th-level dungeon looked like. The last time he had come here was when he had just awakened and become a hunter. Since then, the dungeons he had entered were the everlasting dungeons that would harm humanity if not conquered within a specified time. Moreover, he faced bosses that were unimaginable demons. Xiao Qiu looked at the system panel in front of him and fell into deep thought. He was very curious about the choices he made on the path of monsters and where they would ultimately lead him. However, the prospect of becoming a bloodless and tearless monster made him somewhat excited. Just then, a man's voice interrupted his thoughts. They were a team of 5, who had come to conquer the dungeon. The team leader looked at Xiao Qiu with his bare hands and thought he was a martial artist who relied on physical strength. But in reality, Xiao Qiu himself had not yet decided on a profession. After all, he was skilled in ranged attacks, melee combat, healing, magic, and hand-to-hand combat. He had even created many of the current human career paths. Seeing Xiao Qiu enter the dungeon alone, the team leader thought he was a highly advanced hunter who had great confidence in his abilities, at least a level 3 hunter like himself. But Xiao Qiu said he was only a level 1 hunter, which surprised everyone. A level 1 hunter might not even be able to defeat a level 2 healer in the team. Was he here to commit suicide in this level 3 dungeon? Xiao Qiu said in a solemn voice, "Don't worry, I won't cause you any trouble." The team leader coldly replied, "If you want to die, we won't stop you. Just don't expect us to help you if you encounter any danger." After that, the 5 people ignored Xiao Qiu and began to conquer the dungeon. They had considerable strength and excellent coordination. Facing the 1 and 2 level monsters in the dungeon, all attacks seemed effortless. At that moment, a young woman approached Xiao Qiu. Her name was Yan Xianxian, and she was a level 2 healer. As no one was injured, she and Xiao Qiu started chatting. She advised him not to blame the captain for his bad attitude. After all, as a newcomer, it's easy to make mistakes in the dungeon, and one misstep could mean death. Xiao Qiu naturally did not blame the captain. Instead, he felt somewhat comforted. Compared to the past, hunters have indeed made significant progress. Upon hearing Xiao Qiu's words, Yan Xianxian was taken aback. "Although you look very young, you speak like one of those big shots on TV," she said. "But you're right. Since the implementation of the hero masks strengthened training policies for hunters, the death rate of low-level hunters has plummeted. It's precisely because of this that more outstanding hunters can emerge among humans." Xiao Qiu didn't show any joy upon hearing this, and he remained expressionless. Just then, a sharp claw came at Yan Xianxian. She didn't notice it, but Xiao Qiu reacted quickly, pulling her into his arms and shielding her. The enormous claw smashed onto the ground, belonging to a shadow spider with a huge body and purple light emanating from its body, making it look extremely frightening. As a former top-level hero, although Xiao Qiu was only a first-level hunter now, he felt no fear. He reached out his left hand and accurately grabbed the spider's leg joint, the weakest point of the shadow spider's legs. With a twist, he heard a snap as he broke the spider's leg off directly. He then held the spider's leg and thrust it towards the shadow spider. The sharp spider leg precisely pierced the spider's eye. At that moment, the members of the team who had just been mocking him were all stunned. Yan Xianxian was also startled by the sudden appearance of the monster. She was still tightly holding onto Xiao Qiu's clothes. "Now that the danger has passed, can you let go?" "I can hardly breathe," Xiao Qiu said expressionlessly. Yan Xianxian, who had finally come to her senses, blushed instantly. She quickly let go of his clothes and apologized shyly. But Xiao Qiu did not mind any of it. He looked at the system panel that displayed the experience points gained from killing the monster. It seemed that choosing the path of monsters had not affected the upgrade system. The upgrade system allowed Xiao Qiu to level up by killing monsters. It was through this ability that he had risen quickly to become a special grade hero in the previous life. Now, with this ability and the battle experience from his previous life, Xiao Qiu believed that he would grow even faster. Because of Xiao Qiu's impressive performance just now, the team leader's attitude towards him became more amicable. He said, "Thank you for saving Yan Xianxian. When the task is completed, the reward will be distributed fairly among all of us." After that, the team continued to explore the dungeon. The battles along the way were all quite easy. They even had time to discuss the trial of the masked hero. Because of the massacre in Tuga City, everyone believed that the masked hero deserved to be judged. Moreover, no one had ever seen what was under his mask, and there were even rumors that he was a woman. However, Yan Xianxian spoke up and firmly supported the masked hero. She said that the massacre in Tuga City was due to the arrival of a contaminating demon that had infected the entire city and turned the people into monsters. The masked hero had only acted because there was no other choice. But since she had no evidence to support her claims, even her teammates found it difficult to be convinced. The team leader quickly put a stop to this topic. Not long after, they arrived at the final boss room. The boss was a giant spider leader. The 5-person team launched an attack on the spider leader according to a pre-planned strategy. Of course, Xiao Qiu also participated. The monsters in the low-level dungeon had almost no intelligence. As long as they cooperated properly, they could quickly eliminate them. Sure enough, with the tacit cooperation of the team, they easily defeated the spider boss without any injuries. The team leader was happily discussing how to distribute the rewards, but Xiao Qiu felt that something was strange. They said this was a level 3 dungeon, but the system clearly indicated earlier that it was a level 4 dungeon. At this moment, a sound of footsteps emerged. A girl wearing a school uniform unexpectedly emerged from the depths of the cave, and even more perplexing was that she was also wearing a space helmet. The captain was taken aback and shouted, "She's the dungeon boss." It was the first time he had encountered such a monster. While he was still at a loss about what to do, the spearman beside him didn't care about this at all. He charged towards the girl with his spear in hand. This direct attack should have been easily avoided by a 4th-level dungeon leader, but the girl took the hit head-on and blood splattered everywhere. The spearman was excited and turned to everyone and said, "This monster is quite weak." He wanted to pull out his spear and stab again, but at the moment he pulled out his spear, a finger-thick spider silk sprayed out from the girl's abdominal wound and wrapped around the spearman's arms. The spearman was terrified and tried to break free from the spider silk, but it only tightened more. The captain knew that such thick spider silk could not be cut by physical attacks, so he immediately ordered the mage to launch a flame attack. With a wave of the mage's hand, a flame flew towards the girl. The intense flames engulfed the girl. The captain took the opportunity to send the archer to rescue the spearman. However, the archer who charged forward saw an astonishing scene. The girl in the flames unexpectedly grew 6 legs and turned into a monster with 8 legs like a spider. While everyone was still in shock, the flames that trapped the girl had already extinguished. She kicked one leg towards the spearman who was still entangled in spider silk. That seemingly ordinary long leg directly pierced through the spearman's chest, and he lost his life. The captain gritted his teeth in frustration, realizing that the monster was too powerful. Unfortunately, the dungeon exit would not open for another 3 hours. His only recourse was to order his team to retreat slowly towards the dungeon entrance and escape through the portal once it was opened. However, how could they possibly escape the girl? She once again shot a web from her abdomen, this time targeting the team captain. He immediately found his arm entangled by the sticky substance. In an attempt to rescue their captain, the archer drew his bow and fired 3 arrows at the web, but to no avail. Instead, the archer found himself ensnared by the web. The girl controlled the web, rapidly tightening it around the archer's body. To their horror, they saw that the girl's abdomen had grown sharp teeth like thorns. In the midst of the archer's screams, the girl's maw, which had sprouted from her abdomen, swiftly engulfed the archer's head. This scene frightened everyone present. The mage covered his mouth and let out a gasp, while Yan Xianxian nervously covered her eyes. The captain was completely enraged now, and even though his right hand was entangled in spider webs, he still lifted his great sword and swung it towards the spider woman. However, he did not expect that his full force strike as a level 3 hunter would not cause any harm to the monster. At this point, the spider woman tightened her web and tried to swallow the captain whole. Despite his desperate resistance, he could not withstand the spider woman's immense strength. Suddenly, Xiao Qiu rushed over and said, "To save you now, I can only chop off your hand. If you are willing, give me the sword." After hesitating for a moment, the captain threw his heavy sword to Xiao Qiu. Xiao Qiu caught the sword and leapt up high, chopping off the arm that the captain had been entangled with. Blood spurted out and the captain screamed in pain. Xiao Qiu supported the injured captain and retreated, while Yan Xianxian rushed over to stop the bleeding and provide treatment. Meanwhile, the mage was completely terrified and had only one thought in her mind: she must not die here. She ran towards the entrance of the secret realm, while Yan Xianxian, who was treating the captain, asked Xiao Qiu why he was not running. Xiao Qiu replied calmly, "We can't escape from here." She intentionally let the person escape, as the fear that humans release when running away can make the monsters more satisfied. Although the others had never seen such monsters before, Xiao Qiu knew what they were. These were monsters chosen by the outer gods, and their favorite food was human negative emotions, such as fear, jealousy, and resentment. They were selected by the outer gods in the void and were blessed with immense power and strange appearances that humans could not understand. He did not expect that when he had no power left and entered the secret realm for the first time, the system had arranged for him to face the chosen monster. However, Xiao Qiu had killed countless of them, even those outer gods. Just then, purple smoke suddenly spewed from the spider-woman's abdomen. Yan Xianxian immediately cast a detoxification spell. It was unexpected that the mist sprayed from the spider-woman's abdomen was not poison, but rather a mental pressure. She wanted to incapacitate all these humans and then savor them slowly. However, she didn't expect to see a standing figure amidst the fog. It was Xiao Qiu. Although his physical strength was gone, his mental and spiritual strength were still at level 13. The idea of a mere level 4 spider-woman using her mental power to overwhelm him was simply preposterous. This mental pressure had no effect on Xiao Qiu but helped him activate his monster state. He also had to thank the spider-woman for incapacitating everyone else. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to take the fight seriously. By now, Xiao Qiu had transformed into a monster with twin horns on his head. His eyes glowed with red light, making him appear like a demon. Xiao Qiu crouched down in a standard starting position, and in the next second, his figure disappeared. He didn't really vanish, his speed was just too fast to be seen. A red diagonal shadow flashed by, and then the spider-woman's body burst forth with purple blood. When Xiao Qiu reappeared, he was holding one of Spider-Woman's calf in his hand. He threw the calf away and mocked, "Apart from being too long, it really is a nice leg." The Spider-Woman was infuriated and shot another wave of spider silk at Xiao Qiu. However, at Xiao Qiu's current speed, the spider web could not hit him at all. Instead, he easily dismantled another one of her legs. "Is that all you have to offer? You're not even worthy to be chosen," he said and charged at her again. A blood-red light enveloped the Spider-Woman's body, and accompanied by the sound of cracking, all 7 of her legs were soon cut off. Only one leg was struggling to support her body. Now the Spider-Woman was completely terrified. She knew that the demon in front of her was someone she could never defeat. She turned around on her lone leg and tried to escape. However, in the next second, there was a cracking sound, and her only remaining leg was also severed. Now, without any legs, she became nothing more than a piece of meat on a chopping board. Xiao Qiu slowly approached her. "When you toyed with humans, you didn't think your turn would come so quick, did you?" He lifted his right foot and crushed the Spider-Woman's head without hesitation. Rank 4 Dungeon, Hatching Nest of the Mother Spider Raid complete. Quest reward awarded: Leg of the Spider Demon. Dungeon raid complete. Survivors will be automatically teleported out.